Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River, it's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin, 7:09, Wednesday, October 5th, 59 degrees. Get up to 64 today, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are joined now in studio. And you know, Zach, this is one of the most challenging name combinations I've ever had. I'm just letting you know. We have Dr. Sumy Chang and we have Kathe Sadler Wright. They are from Community Medical Center. We are talking Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Thank you so much for joining us. So let's start with you, Dr. Chang. So this is your second appearance here. You joined us with Tina Pilot before.
Thank you for having me again.
Listen,
after the first time.
You just showed up on the schedule. I don't know how that happened. We had very clear directions not to allow that to happen again, but I've talked to the appropriate people. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about what you do and what your background is at Community?
So I'm a surgeon, and I was trained in general surgery. And however, I also spent another year in training for a fellowship, which is a fellowship training for breast cancer surgery. And so basically that is what I do in a nutshell, taking care of breast cancer patients as a surgeon.
I just had an Austin Powers flashback because I just can't imagine operating in a nutshell all day. That's right. So there's not a lot of room to operate there. Okay, so Kathe, what about you? You are an MSN and then RN-C. So what does that mean?
That means I'm certified in women's health care.
Oh, okay. And you are the clinical breast navigator.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. I've been at Community for 35 years, and I've always been working in women's health. And I've been very fortunate to have the clinical navigator position for the past few years.
35 years?
Yes.
Wow. So that's 1981, if my math serves me correctly.
You're correct.
Wow.
I was a baby.
I was going to say, so you started there when you were like 6 or 7?
About that, yeah.
I didn't even know they were hiring back then. I knew
was
that,
a prodigy.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So tell me what a clinical breast navigator does.
Basically, I'm GPS for breast cancer patients. When a patient receives a diagnosis of breast cancer, a lot of things go through their head. They're very confused. They don't know what to do next. And I help guide them through the entire treatment process. Make sure they're not lost to treatment.
Cool. Do you do different voices? Like, do you do like an English voice or like,
no, I don't.
Like your typical GPS? I mean, I know I could change the voices on the one. No, you don't do that.
I do bad accents.
So you're like an entry level GPS,
yes,
but for a high level kind of position.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Correct.
So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So why don't you tell us some of the signs and symptoms of breast cancer?
So most of my patients come concerned with what we can see. And the first thing I ask them to do is look in the mirror when they are looking for breast cancer. And usually I say do this right before the shower, once you're undressed. And you look in the mirror sideways, you lift your arms up, look at the underside of the breast. And sometimes they see changes on one side compared to the other side. And sometimes it's skin changes, sometimes it's nipple changes. Sometimes it's a little bulge that they notice that wasn't there before. Sometimes it's a little indentation that they noticed that wasn't there before. So anything that wasn't there before. And then the next thing I ask them to do is feel the breasts. And the breasts are not just only the breasts themselves, but also you check for your neck for any sort of swollen glands. You check your armpits, and also the breast itself actually is not just the volume that you see, but it actually goes up to your collarbone. So everything in between on your chest you should feel. Right. So anything that feels abnormal, different, hard, sometimes it could be a little discharge coming through the nipple. So all of these are things that we look for, and any sort of skin color change, whether it's thickening or redness or little bumps that you see that around the nipple or in the areola. Is it safe for me to use those words on a morning radio show?
Yeah, that was okay. I think that's a scientific term.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually said the word ASS multiple times relative to another thing. I'm not saying it now because...
well, we're staying above the waistline.
Absolutely. We get our... That's One Night in Bangkok. We get our kicks above the waist. Okay. Okay. So anything that's out of the ordinary or anything that's changing, go talk to see something, say something. Right?
Yes, exactly.
That's important to say.
Exactly.
Right now.
And I tell my patients, you're with your breast 24/7. You're the most familiar person with your breast. So if you notice something is different, then you should bring it to someone's attention, because really, I examine a woman's breast twice a year for cancer patients. So changes are usually alerted by the patient themselves.
Certainly. So why is it so important for this self-exam and for annual screenings? What's the payoff if I do all this?
So the payoff is that
if I were a woman, sorry, that was odd for a second.
Well, actually, men can get breast cancer too, which is rare, but still. So the payoff is that in my fellowship when I was in New York City, we did a study looking at cancers that were detected with mammograms versus cancers that were detected when women felt them, and cancers that were detected with mammograms tend to be detected at an earlier stage. And as a follow-up study, they looked at to see if that earlier stage translates to less treatment. And it did. It translated to having to avoid chemotherapy. Sure. So that is the payoff. In trying to detect it early, it's potentially could mean you have more options for treatment, and also potentially avoiding more toxic treatment.
So, and what's the age? What age are you supposed to start having a mammogram?
So that's the recommended age is for 40 years old. And last year, the American Cancer Society came out with slight change in the recommendation, but still the recommendation for my patients is still 40 years old every year for screening mammograms for women who don't have any risk.
Gotcha.
And the average risk of a woman having breast cancer in their lifetime is 12%. That means 1 in 8 women can get breast cancer just by being a woman and having breasts.
Right. Actually, 1 in 8.33 women.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Not to be exact.
So I'm very exacting. That's so. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the advances that we've seen in breast surgery, right, which is your area of expertise. I want to talk more about the role of the Breast Cancer Navigator, and I want to talk about the National Accreditation Program for Breast Centers, which Community Medical Center is part of. So can we do that when we get back?
Absolutely.
Cool. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, Dr. Sumy Chang, Kathe, Sadler, Wright, MSN, and RNC. Back after this.
Get more Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin at our website, WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 721. We are here with Dr. Sumy Chang and Kathe Sadler Wright, MSN, and we are talking about about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we were about to talk about some of the advances in breast surgery, but I also know that we have a symposium coming up on Monday, October 17th from 6 to 8 at the Captain's Inn in Forked River. So why don't you tell us a little about that?
So it is open to the general public, and there is registration required so we can actually have an estimate. And it's in the evening with dinner provided. I will be there to talk about breast cancer as well as treatment options, and there will be other specialists such as the radiologist, the breast radiologist at Community Medical Center, Dr. Jorge Pardes, and a host of other specialists, and Kathe will be there as well. So it is an informational session about breast cancer treatment, diagnosis, and also support that we provide at Community Medical Center.
Cool. And so what are some of the advances that you've seen?
So breast cancer is a evolving field, and it used to be that mastectomy was the treatment of choice, and now we also have lumpectomy with radiation for early cancer, which is why screening is important. Patients can opt to have less aggressive surgery, or rather smaller surgery with shorter recovery time. And then there are some patients who are now choosing to have mastectomy because of their age of diagnosis when they're diagnosed at a young age. And one of the advances is looking at patients who have a genetic predisposition. So it's a hereditary factor. And some of these patients are choosing to have preventive surgeries such as mastectomy, but sparing the nipple, the areola complex, And so that's one of the things that's we're trying to build at Community Medical Center. We have a genetic counselor, Caitlin Kraft, and she's excellent. And she talks to patients and their family and review their family history and talk about what is their risk of having a hereditary factor. And from that perspective, we talk to patients about what kind of proactive screening they can do, and also some patients choose to have risk-reducing preventive surgery, nipple-sparing mastectomy. And of course, we have them see plastic surgeons who are also part of the collaborative group that we work with, and to reconstruct the breast immediately after the surgery where I perform mastectomy. So that's one of the advances of surgery is reconstruction is also, it used to be we use only implants. Now patients have the option of using their own natural tissue. So as their weight fluctuate, their breasts also fluctuate, which is what happens to a woman.
Right.
So those are some of the advances in breast surgery.
So now I know that Community Medical Center is the only accredited program. I'm sorry, the National Accreditation Program for Breast Centers is the only accredited center in Ocean and Atlantic counties. Tell me a little bit about that. We have about 2 minutes left, so tell me a little bit about that.
That's a very stringent accreditation. We're very proud to have it. There's about 27 different accreditation factors that we have to meet. Everything from having tumor boards, which is where specialists who work with breast cancer sit and discuss specific cases so that the patient gets the correct treatment and gets the best treatment, to how our imaging is done, to how our patients are followed, to their survivorship, the types of surgery that is done, the types of chemotherapy and the timing of chemotherapy. There's a lot of factors that play into it. It's a very, very stringent accreditation, so we're really, really proud to have it.
That's great. That's great. And so, I know we also have coming up, I know we also do breast cancer support groups, right, that meet the last Wednesday of the month at 5 p.m. in the radiation and oncology department. And so we'll give you that contact information later. But when we come back, I want to go, Kathe, I want to go through kind of a day in the life of a navigator. Could we do that?
Sure.
So people get a better flavor for what you do?
Absolutely.
Cool. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, talking Breast Cancer Awareness Month with Dr. Sumy Chang and Kathe Sadler Wright, MSN. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, back after Kevin Williams and the news.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. 7:34 Wednesday, October 5th, 59 degrees. Get up to 64 today. WOBMAM 1160, 1310 News Talk Radio. Stream live on the radio pop app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are joined in studio by Dr. Sumy Chang and Kathe Sadler Wright, MSNRNC. I feel like a Republican National Committee every time I say that. So tell me, give me a day in the life of the breast cancer navigator. What does that look like?
Well, no one day is exactly the same as the other day. That's one of the things I love about the job. I could be doing anything from fielding patients' telephone calls to going down to visit them during some of their treatments, whether it's in radiation oncology or down in our infusion center. I work very closely with our survivorship navigator to make sure that patients understand going forward after their treatment what kind of health screenings and how they need to take care of themselves. I might be working with a genetic counselor on any given day. I could be working with our American Cancer Society navigator. We're fortunate enough to have an in-house navigator from the American Cancer Society. every day is different. And what I really love is the patient interaction. And I really love the collegial atmosphere that we have at Community. Everybody's working together to get the best possible care for the patient.
Very nice, very nice. And so you're really you're really one of the, I guess in the world of nursing, you're really one of the more hands-on kind of relationship type driven nurses. I know most nurses love the one-on-one ability they have to deal with patients, but yours is kind of more of a, I'm sure it's almost like a lifetime deal for
Actually,
some.
there are patients that I took care of who had breast cancer 12 and 13 years ago that I still stay in touch with. So it's one of the more rewarding aspects of my job. I love it.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So it's that time now where we give you the magic wand, the ability to make an impact, make a change, pixie dust, fairy dust, whatever you want to call it. You can just wiggle your nose if that makes a difference, however you want to do it. But you have the ability to make an impact just by doing one thing. So let's see. I will let... we'll let Kathe. You can go first since Dr. Chang backed away from the microphone. So why don't you go first? Go ahead.
If I could change one thing, it would be to have everybody in Ocean County know what kind of great services we really have in terms of our cancer services at Community. That income is no barrier, insurance coverage is no barrier. We take all comers, and we will give everyone the best possible care at Community Medical Center. We have the Outstanding Achievement Award from the Commission on Cancer. We're one of only 2 hospitals in the state of New Jersey that has it, only 75 in the country. And that's really recognition of all of the services that we provide for our patients. So I really wish more people knew about that.
Very good. Dr. Chang?
To that end, I feel that a lot of people who may know about it, I also want them to realize that the care that we would provide locally is just as good as the one that they would get if they were going to a larger city. And a lot of people feel that because it's Ocean County, it's Community Medical Center, it's a small center, but we have people who were trained in either Philadelphia, New York City, at large major cancer centers. And our radiation oncologists, our breast radiologists, we all used to work in metropolitan areas where we trained or have experience working there. So I would like patients not just to be aware of the services we provide, but also the quality of services we provide, and be able to have confidence in obtaining their cancer care locally. So a lot of patients end up choosing to have something performed, and they may have regrets. And one of my goals as a breast surgeon is make sure that they are happy at the end of their treatment plan is with the choices they make.
Sure.
So that's one of my magic wand questions.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So let me go through really fast what we got coming up. So number one, I should just mention tomorrow, Friday night. At Yesterday's in Beechwood, Bayville. I know it's one of the B's.
Route 9 in Bayville.
Route 9 across the bridge. You'll see Yesterday's. We are having Bras for a Cause. Right, that is, and I know Tina Pilot, who you've spent a lot of time with.
Yes.
She's one of the people working on that, along with Robin Barr, et cetera. From what I understand, they were sold out as of yesterday, 250 tickets.
Wow.
But probably because of the MC, which is
yours
me,
truly.
Which
You're
is
the
me.
attraction.
Anyway, so that's coming up. We have this Breast Cancer Awareness Symposium Monday, October 17th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Captain's Inn, 304 East Lacey Road in Forked River. You can call 1-888-724-7123 to register today. You must pre-register because seating is limited and dinner will be provided. We want to remind everyone that there's a breast cancer support group that meets the last Wednesday of the month at 5 p.m. in the Radiation Oncology Department. You can contact Tracy Barbary Matthews at 732-557-8000, extension 11303. And of course, to schedule a mammogram, 732-557-8150. To reach Dr. Chang, 732-557-2153. And to reach Kathe, call 732-557-8000, extension 12493. If you just want more information about CF, this is the longest I've ever done, so this is great. Call 1-888-724-7123 or visit barnabashealth.org/community. And of course, like them on Facebook at facebook.com/community medical center. Community medical. Dr. Chang, Kathe Wright, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Woo, and that was the longest promo. We got to talk about that next time. My goodness. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Back with more after this.
Stay tuned for Preferred Company with Joel Markell and Marianne Levy at 8. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.